Welcome 16-time PGA Tour winner Justin Thomas to the Media Center here at the Truist Championship. Justin, you're making your first start since winning the 2025 RBC Heritage. Can you open with some thoughts about being back here at a signature event?
It definitely is nice, you know, coming off of a win, and yeah, it was a nice couple weeks off. I think it's weird, although it seems like the season kind of goes in waves of different times of tiredness, if you will. It seems like you know, Augusta seems to take it out of a lot of us, and Hilton Head being as tough as it was, you know, after those couple weeks, you know, the time off was warranted, and it was nice. So it was good to get a little bit of rest and take some time away and get back into it, and back at a signature event, but at a new golf course for all of us. It's really cool and old school design, which I think is awesome, and should be fun.
Yeah, obviously we're here at the Philadelphia Cricket Club's Wissahickon course. Can you share some thoughts about the course? Have you played it yet? I believe you just came off the Pro-Am.
I have, yeah. I've played 9 each day. It's really cool. I love these kind of designs. I just think that they, you know, they're fun. They obviously are. There's bits and pieces that are very specific in terms of what the conditions give us. I think in a perfect world, we probably wouldn't have the forecast that we have coming and what we've had early this week, because it is meant to play firm and fast, especially the greens. You know, it's a shame in that aspect, but obviously there's nothing that we can do about it, and or that anybody can do about it. And I think because of that, you know, it will show a fair amount of birdie opportunities, but it's still very much position golf, and you need to be able to hit it in the right spots on the greens and kind of take advantage when you can.
Perfect. We'll open it up with Dan Rappaport.
JT, you're in great form. You've been playing well all year. You're coming off a win, and then next week there's a major championship at a venue that you've already won at a major at. Is there a difficulty in not getting almost too excited about where you are right now?
I'd say yes and no. I think it'd be easy to buy into that. I mean, to be perfectly honest, Rory winning the Masters probably helped with that, because I think, I mean, rightfully so, and then Scottie winning last week. I mean, those two deserve all the spotlight and the favoritism that they'll probably have next week. And so yeah, I'm sure that is and was helpful for me, but it is. I mean, like I said, I enjoyed the couple weeks off. I think you know, this week obviously do want to play well and want to give myself a chance to win, and at the same time, it is a chance to try to just kind of keep building a little bit more each and every day, and to get it to where, you know, we're playing well and feeling great about everything come next week as well. So yeah, I'm sure I might feel a little bit differently when I get there, but like I said, I think I've been fortunate to have a couple of my peers play well that I think they may steal some of that from me.
We'll go over here to Jack.
JT, with you winning, you have a 10-year-old 5-wood in your bag that I believe is one of the oldest non-putters on the PGA Tour. In fact, it's older than some of the Nike clubs that are still out on tour. How close are you trying to get a new one in the bag, and like what's kept that club in your bag for this amount of time?
I'm not. I think there's definitely a reason it's been in there. It doesn't necessarily have as much to do with of not being able to hit the newer stuff well, or like how it performs. It's more of how it performs distance-wise is what I need. Like I've hit a couple of the latest 5-woods, like the last couple editions or launches, and they just go a little bit further than I would like in a 5-wood. I mean, it's just kind of a perfect club for me, I feel like, and it's unique in the sense I feel like I can hit it 230 yards if I need to, but I can hit it 265 in the air if I need to. So it's similar to a 3-wood. If you get a good one, it's tough to replace, and yeah, I have a handful of heads left. And I definitely won't be giving anybody any of them to try anytime soon.
We'll go in the front row to Jeff.
You guys play a lot of courses that you've seen in the past, and they're repeats, but when you're at a new course like this, seeing it for the first time, what's your approach to the practice rounds?
It's very different. I actually had a one of the amateurs in my pro-am today asked me, like, what are you doing when you're out here? And I was like, well, this week is very different than normal in the sense of, a place like next week, I don't feel like I need to go play practice round every day. I mean, I'll probably play maybe 18 holes total, but just more of seeing what kind of condition the golf course is in. But, a place like here, I'm probably taking a little bit more notes. I'm just looking a lot more, whether it's with the amount of slope on the greens, you can kind of see differences of different angles that you look at it. So it's all very in front of you off the tee. I feel like it's right there. It's pretty forgiving, but it really is just kind of around the greens. And if you get out of position, where do you need to miss it? So it's just trying to learn those things. But fortunately for me, everybody else is kind of trying to do the same thing. So it's just a part of it.
Got one more in the front row, and then we'll go to Pete. Go ahead.
Justin, Rory wins the Masters. You win RBC. Scottie sets a record, ties a record. How good is that for golf right now that three of the guys that are sort of the vanguard of the sport are not only being successful, but being successful in big spotlights, you end a drought, all that sort of stuff? How good is that for the game?
I mean, y'all could probably answer that better than me, just in terms of, I appreciate that. To be mentioned in the same, obviously, sentence and same area, if you will, as Rory and Scottie. I mean, obviously, I think a lot of myself and my game and my accomplishments, and know that I've done that. But like pretty much all of us, we all downplay everything that we've done and what we probably feel of ourselves. So it is. I mean, obviously, Rory winning the Grand Slam was huge. It was it was inspiring to me. I mean, obviously, it's not like I didn't realize I wanted to win a Grand Slam before that, but it is even more motivating. It is. I mean, it's such a funky game in the sense of anybody can win any week, but to have your top guys or guys that are maybe a little bit more of the needle, if you will, playing well at some of the biggest stages like Rory and Scottie did. I would assume that it is helpful, and so I think that everybody keeps playing well and keeps putting themselves in position, and that's the opportunity of new names and faces to kind of grow to where we can just hopefully have more battles like we all have.
We'll go over here to Pete.
Justin, if you could turn to your architecture side. Philadelphia is well known for the quality of golf courses that are here. In your opinion, where do you think Philadelphia sits as an area where you've got places like Marion and Aronimink that people know about, but manufacturers and Gulf Mills and Rolling Green that maybe people haven't heard of? What do you think about the Philadelphia area for golf?
I mean, it's spectacular. I obviously I would love to play some of the other. I haven't played Marion. I'm honestly kind of bummed that I hadn't played here beforehand, because I selfishly would have loved to try to go play Marion while I was here, but I feel like it's in my best interest in my job to probably play the golf course that I'm playing this week. But it really is just so many courses in the Northeast. I feel like you obviously you don't want to be too vague and kind of group all of them together, but to me it's just a different style and a different look of golf up here, and it is. I mean, we there's a place that's really close by that was driving past, and I mean, you could just they all look so cool. I kind of think of it similar to like in like Scotland or Ireland. It's not like there's no bad golf courses it seems like you can play, you know what I mean? It's just they all look so unique. They have the old templates, the old kind of architecture, and the crazy green complexes, the bunkering, just something about like the bent fairways and the rye bluegrass rough, like how it just kind of shapes the hole. It looks really cool. So I think that there's so many great courses that I'm sure that we could have tournaments like this at, but just the infrastructure and the property itself don't allow for all of it. So it's cool that we get to come to a new place like this and experience it and play it.
We'll go to Shupak.
JT, I got a couple for you. First, what's the best shot you remember hitting with that 5-wood?
I I mean, I don't know. I mean, the one on 18 at Sawgrass on Saturday and Sunday kind of come to mind, or at least it's kind of what people remind me of. I don't, in terms of difficulty to repeat, I would say that's not very far up there. It just was this situation and scenario I think made it a better shot, but it's just, I don't know. There's not anything that comes really to mind. There's so many shots I feel like I can kind of create and hit with it that I just can't, with a 2-iron. Like I can hit it from, I mean, I hit it from like 165 yards out of the rough at Torrey Pines this year. Like it was just, when it was raining, it was miserable, and I'm looking down in the rough, I'm like, I can't get an iron out of this, and I'm not going to hit a sand wedge and chip it out. Like I know I can just lay open this 5-wood and I can kind of get it up around there, and I hit it to like 15 feet. And I always joke that, it's some people go 5-wood or 2-iron, and I'm like, I definitely could have done that with a 2-iron. So it's stuff like that. Over time, you kind of accumulate some.
There's been a bunch of talk about, now that Rory won the Masters, it's very liberating and he might go on a big run. I'm curious if you agree with that, and if you feel like the same way about yourself now that you've got a win after a long stretch.
I mean, I feel like Rory was kind of on a pretty decent run this year already, so I don't know. I guess it's all relative of what a big run is, of if that means more majors or more tournaments. But I mean, he's played better than everybody this year, so even before the Masters, without winning the Masters. So, but I felt that way about my game, for a little bit, in the sense of over a long career, you go in runs. I mean, I know that in both good and bad, and it's just about minimizing the bad and maximizing the good. And I've gone on a couple stretches there, where I feel like I've kind of won 5, 6, 7 times in, 30, 35 events, and it's like it's there. It just, sometimes things just happen when you win versus when you don't win, and I feel like I kind of saw a little bit of that at Harbour Town, of maybe some things going my way and just kind of making the putts, getting the bounces, whatever it is when you need to. But I'm not necessarily expecting it. I understand that it can happen, but I know I just kind of need to keep doing what I'm doing to put myself in the best position for it, if you will.
Keith?
Justin, I'm curious about your approach to the golf course this week. Rory mentioned a couple minutes ago that he noticed some design features, that he could carry bunkers at 300 yards and he was going to fully attack with driver. Do you feel the same way about the way you're going to go, or are you going to play more positional?
First off, I would say that's a good strategy for Rory at like every golf course ever made, is just to pull the driver out of the bag, unless it's a par 3, and just hit it, because he hits it better than about anybody in the world. But for the most part, I mean, there is a lot of drivers. The fairways they're pretty generous. They're wider than I thought on some holes, but it's super wind dependent. I mean, we played a different wind the last 3 days, wind direction, in the sense of, I mean, like the 18th hole, for instance, yesterday I hit a driver and a 6-iron in. Today, I mean, I hit this drive as good as I can hit it, and I had 5-wood in. So like it can play very differently in terms of some bunkers that are carryable with a certain wind and not others. But I think here it's fairway first, and it's more of a second shot golf course, in my opinion, of where you're leaving it and putting it in the right positions and giving yourself birdie opportunities.
All right, couple more, Michael, and then to Josh.
Laura, thank you. Justin, I know you really love golf. When you finished at Augusta this year, did you stick around and watch how that thing unfolded?
Well, I unfortunately had finished kind of like when the leaders were teeing off, but I'm a golf fan, and I was very excited to get home and watch the entire round on TV, and I was fortunate to see Rory at home after that, and I joked with him. I was like, as the golf fan in me, I wanted a good tournament. I wasn't necessarily, didn't want anything, I don't want to say like bad to happen to anybody, but I didn't want to see somebody win by 4 or 5 as a golf fan, not specifically who it was. But then for a second I was like, all right, dude, like it's a tournament now, like you're good. We could go ahead and enjoy watching it like the rest of us. But no, I was glued to the TV, and was very excited to watch.
Are you volume on or volume off when you watch?
It's a good question. I don't really care. I'd say in a perfect world, it's probably volume off and maybe music or other things going on. But yeah, it probably just kind of depends on the situation.
Josh.
Hey, JT. Given how well you've been playing over the last 6 months and then just winning at Harbour Town, how do you compare your confidence level and how you feel now heading into Quail Hollow compared to where you were at maybe last year or 2 years ago heading into majors?
I mean, I felt pretty good with everything last year going into majors. I mean, there's even some times 2 years ago where I felt pretty good. It's just it's a fickle game. I mean, I don't necessarily at this exact moment feel as good as I did, on Thursday of Harbour Town or Sunday of Harbour Town, but that doesn't mean that I'm going to feel better than that tomorrow or the next day and so on and so forth. I think I've gotten better out of more similar when I've played some of my best is understanding where I'm at that day. And I know that I have the firepower in my game to go make 10, 11, 12 birdies in a round because I've proven that. So it's more about not, my bad round being 2 under or 1 under, 3 under. It's just not shooting those over par rounds and 3, 4, 5 over because, I joke with Rev is it's like that, maybe I can just do a better job of vocalizing that, whether it's to him or myself and strategically playing differently. So when I do shoot 61 on the Friday of the Players, it's not to make the cut by a couple, it's to maybe get in the last group or something. It's little things like that could be the difference of, having a chance to win tournaments and kind of finishing around that middle mark.
Okay. We'll wrap things up there. Justin, thank you for joining us.
Yep.
Forward! All right.